Hey guys, I'm Voylin, and in today's video I want to talk about the 5 most common mistakes while studying Japanese. So mistake number 1. Relying on books and applications too much. And that's a mistake that I also had it. I was focusing too much on Anki in the beginning. Then I switched to an application and was too busy with that application instead. It's really important to not only use books and applications. It's also very important to actually have some amount of immersion in the language by watching shows, listening to Japanese music, and just overall interacting more with the language compared to just using Genki, by example, or using Pimsleur Japanese. You really need multiple ways of interacting with the language if you want to know the language properly. If your aim is just to be able to speak Japanese, things like Pimsleur and only using that may help, but you will still miss a certain amount of cultural context and vocab and grammar which you won't hear inside of those resources, inside of those lessons, for example. There are a lot of different ways to study Japanese, and it's really important to not tie yourself to one specific application or one specific book. And talking about using things for too long, mistake number 2. Focusing too long on one specific area. This can be, by example, grammar. Focusing way too much on grammar and forgetting about vocab, making you understand all grammar parts, but you don't understand enough vocab to actually use the grammar that you've learned. Same for vocab. Focusing too much on vocab or focusing too much on kanji. There are a lot of people who find studying kanji easier, so they only study kanji but kind of forget about the rest of the language, like the vocab and the grammar, the listening and the speaking, which makes the overall speed at which you learn the language a lot slower, because, for example, you will focus on kanji so much that you know all the kanji, and then you realize, I have these other areas to work on as well. Then you will start studying those subjects, but by the time you've studied these, because you think your kanji is good enough, by example, you will not have focused enough time on the kanji anymore, forgetting the knowledge that you've learned, that you spent the previous couple of months learning. So focusing on one specific area is not a good thing. You really need to focus on all areas equally at the same time, because you will lose the knowledge that you gained at a certain point if you only focus on one specific thing for way too long. I had the same thing. I was studying way too much kanji compared to vocab and grammar, and recently I've been studying too much grammar that I kind of left my vocab behind, and yeah, it's annoying. And that also brings us to mistake number 3, and that is a lack of consistency. Being consistent in studying a language is important. If you don't study at least one time a week, your knowledge will start going down. For example, you study for a week, like every single day, a couple of hours. Your knowledge will go up and up and up. But the moment that you stop studying, it goes not like this, it goes like this. But yeah, a lack of consistency can kind of damage your learning experience by decreasing your motivation, because you keep realizing how many things you have forgotten. And that brings us to number 4, which is the thing that I regret the most, and that is not enough speaking practice. If your goal is not to be able to talk Japanese, but just listen to Japanese series or listening to Japanese music whilst understanding the lyrics and such, or reading Japanese books, then you're probably fine. But for me personally, I live in Japan, and the biggest mistake that I made was not practicing speaking enough, because speaking, it's important, and I was studying too much vocab, grammar and the other things that I did not really start speaking early on. The biggest reason why I personally did not start speaking earlier was because of a lack of confidence. And yeah, recently I started not caring anymore about my confidence and how bad my sentences were, and I just started using it more, making me improve a lot faster. Honestly, if you are in the same boat as I was some years ago, start speaking earlier on. Start with speaking to yourself and then try to find people to speak to. Try listening to other conversations and try to reply, like how would you reply to that conversation? A good thing to do is like podcasts. If somebody asks a question, pause and try to see if you can give an answer fluently and quickly, because if you take 1 minute for a simple phrase, the conversation will be very slow and the other person may be tempted to just stop speaking in general because it takes too long to have a proper conversation. But yeah, start speaking early on, even if you're full of mistakes. For people who self-study, this may be more difficult than for people who are studying in a school or following lessons online. But talk as much as you can, because it's probably the quickest way to improve your Japanese. And this kind of ties up with the next point, with the next mistake, mistake number 5, and that is not having enough immersion. You can have immersion through a couple of ways, by watching more series, movies in Japanese, and even just playing games in Japanese. Reviewing is still one of the most important parts, and immersing yourself in Japanese is the best way and the easiest way to actually review the language. Reviewing, it's probably 80% of the whole learning experience, even 90%. You really need to review often, and having the immersion of hearing Japanese often or seeing Japanese often, it's important. It's really important. But yeah, these are my 5 things that I can that I also had when I started studying Japanese in the beginning. But the biggest one is still for me not speaking Japanese early enough. When I moved to Japan, I did not start speaking Japanese until like after my first year. Towards my wife's parents, I would speak in Japanese, but I would always be too hesitant because, yeah, again, lack of confidence. Yeah, just force yourself to talk more in Japanese. Immerse yourself more in Japanese, and every now and then review how you're studying Japanese. Like once a month, take a look at what you've learned and if you're happy with your progress or not. If you're not happy, try to see what you can improve and how you can improve it. So yeah, these were my 5 mistakes that people make when studying Japanese. I hope this was helpful to you, and I'll see you all in the next one. Please let me know about your learning mistakes in the comments below. Well, with the new YouTube UI, it's probably on the side now. Yeah. Oh well, anyway. See you all in my next video. Good luck with studying Japanese. Bye bye.